soul is to get in contact with you. When you underground, you go in and you do what you feel.
Oh my God.
Circumnavigating planet Earth.
Underground Radio.
Underground Radio.
Right versus wrong. Good versus evil. God versus the devil. What side you on?
Underground Radio.
Hello, right. Welcome to another night at the Radio Factory.
The Radio Factory.
The
I like
Radio
that.
Factory. This is where we make radio. At the factory.
At the Radio Factory.
Yeah, how's your headphones levels there,
Yeah,
mate?
that's actually quite good.
Not too bad.
I like it.
Not too bad. What do we got going on over here? Oh, okay. I'm just watching a bit of Sky News at the same time. If anything good comes on, I'll be sure to share it with you.
I see. Multitasking.
Yeah, there you are.
You're looking rather nice tonight, Pete.
Oh, thanks, mate.
I like your jacket.
Thanks. I've been out in the cold, out in the world, out in the elements. Gets colder at this time of the year. Actually, my birthday's coming up in a couple of weeks, and I always know it's cold when my birthday's here. Well, I always know it's going to be cold when my birthday's coming along, you know.
Yes, it is. It's normally a very cold time of the year.
It is. And what sort of a day have you had, Rach?
Oh, wow. A very up and down one.
Oh, okay.
But that's life, isn't it? There gets to a point in your life when you get to the age where, you know, your parents are dying, or you have to face the fact that your parents aren't going to be around for a long time. So, yeah, life stages, it's definitely surreal. Because, you know, you remember being a kid, I remember my grandparents passing away, and I was just a kid and I still had my parents, you know. You really take that for granted.
Yeah.
It's something you really need to appreciate. You know, take as many photos as you can, get as much video as you can, capture their voices, and, you know, if you haven't spoken to them for a long time, give them a call, or better yet, give them a hug. And if you're not close to your family or your parents, you know, try and work it out, because, you know, family means everything. I think we've learnt that, especially through the lockdown.
Yeah.
That, yeah.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
Family.
As time goes by, you realise how important it is to spend time with those people who are closest to you, really. And as they say, you know, your siblings are always your closest link to the past, aren't they?
They are.
Yeah. There's a lot of big days in life. I mean, the day you come into this earth, that's a big day. The day your kids come into this earth, that's big days too. And, you know, we've all only got so many days, don't we?
We do.
And none of us know how many days we've got.
Nope, that is very true.
Yeah. Yeah, that's right. So hug those that are closest to you, especially those that you live with, you know. You see them all the time, you know.
Definitely. And we were going to bring a interview to you tonight. Unfortunately, that can't go ahead because we've had some technical difficulties, so we're still trying to get around that. So we will have to revisit that interview later. But yeah, it'll be a very interesting interview for sure.
Yeah. You see, the thing is, there's a lot of different ways that you can do all this live streaming stuff. There's so many different possibilities and different options, and as the technology keeps changing and you keep moving with it, you got to find new ways to do older things, perhaps, you know, like...
the technology is changing all the time, and just trying to keep up with it is, you know, a challenge in itself.
Exactly. Hey, we've got some good music coming up tonight again too, Rach. Remember I said I had a whole lot of great music last night? Well, I didn't actually manage to get through it all. I got through at least half of it, and I'm going to deliver the other half tonight. And one of the songs we've got tonight, it's one of the longest songs that I think I have ever played on radio. It's a 10-minute song. But it's
10 minutes, wow.
Yeah, and when you work in those commercial stations, they always want you to play the radio edits. They don't want you to play the full-length thing.
Right.
So, we've got a nice long song coming up tonight. which is always good if you want to go upstairs, grab yourself a coffee, have a toilet break, go for a quick 2-mile run.
Right, so it's
Whatever it is you
a
wanna do.
radio DJ's dream
Yeah,
song.
10-minute songs, great. Yeah. Hey, I might, of course, take the opportunity to welcome back our regular listeners and those that might be tuning in for the first time. We are experiencing some, what would you call it, restrictions from YouTube on some occasions. So if you find out that you're watching on YouTube or you might be watching on Facebook, Facebook was all right last night. YouTube get a little bit upset about stuff. Sometimes we don't know if it's stuff we say or stuff we play or things we do, but they can close you down. But the important thing to remember, we play or things we do, but there you go. Oh, that's YouTube right there. So they haven't closed us down yet. That's good. Yeah, you can of course tune in on undergroundradio.com.au. You'll get the stream there. And you'll get the pictures there. Or you can go to Twitch. Twitch pretty good. They haven't been giving us too much of a hard time. And then closely followed is Facebook. They're next.
Yeah,
and
well,
then,
it's
and then YouTube finally. I mean, I love YouTube. I really do. I like, uploading videos and being a content creator and all that. But sometimes they just get a little anal,
Well, I think it's just about copyright, and sometimes you don't know whether songs have been, copyrighted or not. So we try and pick, music that's obviously underground, that isn't copyrighted, so that we can
we
promote
try.
artists.
We do try.
So, I mean, we want to promote artists and get their music out there. So, but yeah, that's the difficulty. Obviously, if it's copyrighted, then obviously YouTube and that sort of thing get upset about that, which is fair enough. But you can't know everything.
Well, I don't really get the whole YouTube copyright thing, to tell you the truth. I mean, if you're using...
Well, it's all about views, isn't it? Because,
No, I think it's about money.
That's correct. So if you have a channel and say you had 1,000 subs or 10,000 subs or 1,000,000 subs and you're playing someone else's music and you're making money from that, that is not something that they want you to do, because, the music is copyrighted and the ownership belongs to the artist and to the record label, or however it works.
Well,
So,
you hit the nail on the head there. Like, the most important thing is the artist. And what do you think the artists really want, Rach?
well, they want to get paid.
Well, I think they want it. Yes, they want that, but they
But
also...
they want promotion. They want to be promoted and they want to
Yeah.
get out there to their listeners.
Exactly. They want exposure for their music, don't they? And that's
Yes.
exactly what the whole idea behind what we're doing is. It's to expose underground artists and, just be a platform for music to be promoted and shared, and that's what you want, word of mouth. And word of mouth's the best free advertising of all,
Yes, it
Yeah.
is.
Yeah. And in addition to all of that, I've got a bit of political stuff to share with you tonight, Rach. Because, see, the thing is, the government made it easy for so long for people to borrow money and to borrow huge amounts of money, when you look at home mortgages and that sort of thing. And now, I believe there's a lot of people in this country that are having difficulty in repaying their home mortgages. So,
1.5 million.
Yeah,
At the moment.
That's
That's
right.
just at the moment. So, there's how many people are in JobKeeper and JobSeeker, and what happens at the end of the 6 months when they go off those payments, because they're actually taking, at the end of June, I believe, taking all of the JobKeeper payments for people in the childcare industry. That is going to cease. So, and I think childcare centres are only back to 74% at the moment. So, interesting.
Well, you see, these are unintended consequences of lockdown. Another unintended consequence of lockdown is massive poverty. You've locked people down for so long. Of course, you've got debts, suicide, drug abuse, domestic violence. I mean, these are all result of unintended consequence of lockdown. Of course, more diseases, people not going to the doctors because they're scared. And I think that's the whole thing, is the fear that the media and the politicians and everybody has successfully managed to instill in the population. I think enough with the fear, don't you reckon?
Yeah, well, we're not other countries, are we? We've really, you know, hopefully succeeded in smashing coronavirus. But, you know, in the next 2 weeks, we're going to find out, aren't we? Because they, you know, we have lockdown restrictions, but that didn't stop, you know, tens of thousands of people marching in close proximity where they could not socially distance themselves. So there's a few businesses that are, you know, rightly upset because they can't open their businesses or have, you know, 10, 20, 50 people in their establishment.
Well, you really start to wonder if the whole thing has been a bit of nonsense, you know, and I think we'll know within 2 or 3 weeks. If we don't have like a massive outbreak in coronavirus, I'd say it's I think it's, you know, fair to say that it might have been a bit of nonsense.
Yeah, but what if we do have a massive increase in coronavirus? Because, you know, a lot of us have been waiting in lockdown to, you know, go back out there and be able to reunite with family members that are too scared to have any of their family come around because they're sick or for whatever reason. And, you know, it's very sad. It's very upsetting.
Yeah. Well, I mean, everybody's believed it and suffered except for those who have been getting paid no matter what. And a lot of those people are the, you know, the politicians and people that aren't affected by lockdown. And, you know, I think twice before you vote again for somebody. Think twice before you ever vote again for somebody who's kept us locked down and inside your home and closed the borders to our state. I mean, you've really got to think. And, you know, that's what you can do. You can vote, and it's really important. You know, you've been telling you and telling your friends and all the people around you that we can't go to work. You know, we can't do this, we can't do that, and you know,
but if you think about it, we've locked ourselves down because we've all gone inside and we've just been obedient little sheeple. So we've been all a bunch of sheep that have just, you know, done the right thing or tried to do the right thing.
You know, what you reckon we should have just stood up to the system and go,
I think we should have stood up to the system because, you know, everybody that went out to protest stood up to the system, didn't they? But, you know, it's more difficult to fine all of those people. It's easier to fine businesses. So if businesses don't comply, like some of these businesses are saying that they don't want to comply, like they're an easy target because, you know, potentially they have money and you can definitely, you know where they are, you can find them, you know. It's kind of hard to keep a track of like 30,000 people.
Well, I mean, that's the thing is that we're a country who've got where we are, not by everybody living off Centrelink, you know. And the government has just got so many people on Centrelink now. It's bloody scary how many people they've got on Centrelink on these handout payments, you know. And even people are, I mean, I know people are literally turning down work because, you know, the Centrelink money's double what it normally is. It's really, it's quite good money. And, I mean, how do you expect people to go to work when there's an incentive which is just as good, if not better, than going to work, you know? I'm
terrified of what's going to happen at the end of the JobKeeper program because I think people are not realising what is going to happen. And at the moment, we've got 1.5 million people in mortgage stress. What happens when, you know, like how many people are in JobKeeper?
I don't know the number, but I know it's a lot.
It's a lot. It's like in the, I think it might be 1.5 million or 1.6 million or something. Like that's a lot of people to have on JobKeeper. So I don't think we've even begun to see the economic fallout of this yet.
Well, it's what I was saying before, the unintended consequence of lockdown, you know, social kindness never really works very well.
Social kindness?
No, it doesn't. You've got to really encourage people to get out there and be entrepreneurs and go out and make their own money and get ahead and have a go. That's what we do as Australians, you know. We get out there and we have a go. And
well, the one thing is, once you get onto Centrelink, it's very difficult to get your way out of Centrelink.
Oh, that's right.
Because it's just, you know, normally it is such a low living wage that it's not an easy thing to make your way out of it. Like, you know, even to afford to get a suit or clothes to go and, you know, go for a job interview or have the bus money to go to a job interview. Like, they were living so below the poverty level, you know, it's not a very good place to be, and I think people are not really realising that. A lot of young people that probably, you know, some of them have never been without a job at the moment. It's a bit of a holiday. It's like pretty great, and we know a certain young person.
Well, these are pretty novel times, aren't they?
They are, but fortunately, he's decided to go study in the next month or so. So I think, you know, I think a lot of people are going to have to retrain. That's for sure.
Well, I believe it's time to end the nonsense and for everybody to get back to work.
End the nonsense and play the next song.
Play the next card. I mean, let the economy do what the economy should be doing, which is, you know, lifting people up, creating wealth and opportunities. You know, people like to, you know, make their own way, make their own money, stop holding people down, shackling people's dreams, which I kind of feel like there's bit of shackling going on at the moment, you know? And I think never again should this country be allowed to be locked down like it is.
No, I agree.
Hashtag never again.
Yeah, hashtag never again. And Sweden didn't do it, so I believe Sweden, you know, good work.
Yeah, I told you I was going to get a bit political tonight, Rach. That's the way we like it here on Underground Radio. Thanks for tuning in. Let's keep that good stuff rolling on into the night.
Yo, it seemed like every time I turn around, somebody else gone. Here today, but I don't know for how long. That's why I put my everything in all of these songs. There's no separation, my word is my bond. Cause I know that tomorrow never promised. Stay honest like I know I'm the truth. Make them respect the God and stay true to who I am. Walk a fine line. So not even think about what I'll be putting on my timeline. What's the message that you send? Check your legacy. I think about how I want people to remember me. Would you still stand up and take a stand, even knowing what they did to Miss Bland? Rest in power to the queen. Time's hard, this life is obscene. Protect your being from the ones who scheme. So we live out loud and we dare to dream while we here in the physical, even though they missing you. One day, yeah. One day, one day, one day. Somebody saying I was almost famous, cause a lot of people know me, yet I got a dope joint from Apollo, that's the homie, and I take care of those who are close to me. Rock crowds, rip mics, how we're supposed to be, that's how they say it, right? Had some different cards, but I played them right. Dealing with the hand that I was dealt, never felt I was at a disadvantage. Self-managed, but I got a dope team, so I'm indie, but I'm moving like a major. Like, I give it all of me today while I'm still here. I'm giving y'all this good music while I still care, cause it's a labor of love to keep going with so many acting like they committed to not growing. But one day it'll turn around, I believe that. Appetite back for the truth, I can see that. I'm over here roaming with they free at. Before my time's up, when you ready, son, you know where we be at. One day, yeah. One day, one day, one day.
And there it ends, just like that. Nice editing, hey Pete. Good on you, mate.
Yeah, good on you, mate. And a shout out to Samson tonight.
Yeah.
How are you, Samson?
Yeah, thanks for tuning in, Samson. Hey, back announced that was Dynasty One Day, and production on that track was by Apollo Brown. Sorry about the tragic end to the song, but great track. Great track. It's good to have the regulars back tuned in to the good old underground stuff. Keeping it a little bit political tonight. Push another button, Pete, so we can see you.
So we can see your pretty face. There you are.
Hey, Rach, just wave at Samson. Say, hey, Samson.
Hi, Samson.
Hey, Samson. Thanks for tuning in, buddy.
Yeah, saw you there on Facebook, buddy, on the weekend.
I liked the photo Samson posted the other day with the city in the background at night. That one. That's a really cool looking picture.
Oh, I didn't see that one.
Yeah.
I saw my brother work with at the
With
protest
with
with like
100,000 people behind him.
Yeah, 30,000 people behind him.
Yeah, well, we all know it was more
Looking
than 30,000
good there, was a
people.
P.
Yeah. I have to get Wazza into the studio sometime.
Yes.
Come in. He's a great beat maker as well. And used to drop some pretty cool raps back in the day as well. Was that the one we played with Lee Majors the other night when Lee was here? They were the good old days, Rach.
They were the good old days. And I have to send a shout out, actually, a happy birthday to Mika, a certain
Mika.
lady in somebody's life that we know.
Yeah.
So happy birthday, Mika.
Happy birthday, Mika. How does it feel to be so young? So
Yes.
young.
And another happy birthday to a mate of ours, Michael Knowles. Happy birthday to you.
Happy birthday, Nolsey. He's an awesome grip.
He is.
Mm.
Yes. If you work in the film industry, Knowlesy is an awesome dude and he's a grip and you should get him on one of your film productions.
He can build scaffolding around anything. He can mount a camera to anything stationary, moving, seemingly impossible feats. The grip is the man that really makes all the trickery happen on set. you know?
And he's an awesome dude
magician.
too.
A magician. Yeah.
He is an awesome dude.
Mm. So you're enjoying not having to homeschool anymore, Rach?
Oh my gosh. It's like a relief. I can't believe what a big relief it is.
Yeah.
Huge relief.
Yeah, it is, isn't it?
It is.
Yeah.
Yes. So every now and then you see this story pop up because, you know, there's the Black Lives Matter movement. And, you know, that's a really important one. But this one pops up in my newsfeed every now and then, and it doesn't seem like our government is doing anything. So I think collectively as a nation, we really need to say something about this and get our government to move on it. But in West Papua, there's a genocide that is being ignored by the world. And so the West Papuans basically, I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, because I have read the story before, but I believe they're under occupation by the Indonesians. And so, you know, they get, you know, there's pictures of their buildings being burnt down and being attacked by Indonesian military. So, yeah. So it seems pretty sad that it's being ignored by the whole world. So, you know, what is our government going to do about, you know, West Papua?
Yeah, well, ignorance is not really the way to go, is it?
No, it's not. So if you get to read that story, I will have a read of it and come back to that on another date. But I think that's an important issue that we all need to look into and see what we can do to help West Papua.
Well, I don't think it's okay for people to be discriminated against. Any people. You know?
I think the thing is their land is being stolen from them, and from what I can see, there's like a lot of gold mines, and you know, it's a rich mining country. And you know, whenever you've got a country that has, you know, gold deposits or whatever, it's, you know, all the international, you know, countries want to come in and own it or make money from it or, you know, take it over. So I think that is really what is happening. But even just reading here, it says, often soldiers would force women to wash themselves in the river before brutally raping them in front of their children.
Terrible.
So there is a lot of terrible things going on in West Papua.
Yeah.
And, yeah.
It's
so it looks like it's been going on since like 1967 or something. So
yeah, it is another world over there, isn't it?
it is.
Yeah, we were meant to head over there a year or so ago to make a film, but it's a little bit of a different kind of place to be working.
Yes.
You've got to have security and good knowledge and a whole lot of things.
Yes, it's not so... Well, they don't really have a film industry there at all.
No,
so.
well, that's exactly right. Well, it wasn't going to be like a Hollywood-style film. It was going to be a low-budget film, but nonetheless, incredible place to film in. incredible scenes and environment, amazing people to work with over there.
And a beautiful country as well. We've got friends that lived in Papua New Guinea, and it's an incredible country. Although if you're like 120 kilometers from the nearest hospital and you're bitten by a poisonous snake, like, you know, there's some really dangerous situations that you can get yourself into in Papua New Guinea. That's just one of them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, when you mentioned the protests before, Rach, it just really made me think that it is absolutely time for a change right now. And I think that's what everybody is saying. That's why there's so many people marching in the street. All those people, they all put their shoes on. They all got out of the house. They jumped on buses, trains and cars, walked. However, they all went into the city despite risks and everything else. And I think it's just, it's that many people getting out there. It really is a big voice that's just saying enough is enough. It's not okay for police to behave the way they do. And it's not just in America either. It's here in Australia as well. And I think it really is time the government listen, because, you know, the most powerful thing we can all do, as I said before, is vote. And,
yes, it is.
Every voice counts, you know. And if we had 100,000 people out there on the weekend next time, and there will be a next time, let's make it 200,000. I really think now more than ever, right now, as this whole movement is sweeping the planet, you know, what are you going to say you did at that time in 2020? Are you going to say you just sat at home? Or are you going to say you went out there and you joined in with everybody else just to make your voice heard, you know, to make that cumulative voice and face of
I
hundreds
think
of thousands of people heard,
I think
you know?
we can all say something in a different way. Like for us, we have this platform as well. Not everyone has a platform like this, so it's important to use your voice. But, you know, for most people, getting out and protesting publicly is their voice, and it's the only way they can or feel they can be heard. So that's what they want to do.
Yeah, well, that is true.
I think it's different. Everyone has a different role to play, I believe, especially anyone that's in media. But getting back to, you know, we're talking about things happen in Australia too. And was it last week we saw the Indigenous boy in Sydney who was being arrested, and the police officer kicked his legs out from under him. Yeah. He actually smashed his teeth and everything, that boy. Yeah. And as it turns out, that boy is actually...
And what did he do? What did he do? What did he do to deserve that?
Well, apparently he's a really, really nice boy.
Of
and
course
he has learning difficulties. And actually, my friend's daughter is his teacher in Alexandria in Sydney.
Right.
And she was absolutely shocked. And her mum was telling her, you know, you've got to write a letter to the government and just, you know, because this boy, like, I don't think he's autistic, but I think he has, like, learning issues. Well, but apparently he's a really nice boy, and the parents were so upset they're going to sue. And so they should.
Yeah, exactly right.
So they should.
And I mean, people that behave like that, you know, especially when they're in responsible positions like being a police officer, they should be held accountable, because it's not acceptable to treat people like that.
Well, I think the biggest problem is that police don't understand that everybody that's out there is not normal, right?
That's right. There's no such thing as normal, is there?
They're dealing with a lot of people that have mental health issues or autism or can't behave in a reasonable manner. And this is where people are getting shot and killed and injured, because or they're on drugs. That as well, you know, they're not behaving in a reasonable manner, and then police aren't dealing with it in a reasonable way. And when I say police, it's not every police officer, obviously, but, you know, there are some, either they haven't received the training or they don't have the skills to deal with it. But I think, you know, perhaps maybe we need officers to be more highly skilled.
Well, that's exactly right. And I say if the authorities ever try to tear gas those peaceful protests or use non-lethal weapons against peaceful protesters, this is the time that, you know, we should all remember that and make sure these governments and those agencies are removed. As the voters, as the people, I think we have more power than we sometimes realize.
Especially in big numbers. Like there is power in big numbers. But isn't it in Sydney this week? They used tear gas to break up riots inside a jail.
Yeah, well, a jail. I'm not talking about jail situations.
I think it's still the same thing, though. So I mean, that's what we're talking about in these places in custody. Aggression and that sort of thing, violence used against inmates. So that's what a lot of people are not. Distinguishing the behavior of people as well. But so you're saying, that's acceptable in a jail, but all of the people that are out marching are saying, no, that's not acceptable.
Yeah, no, I wasn't saying it's acceptable in a jail. I'm just saying I don't have any experience in jails.
No.
So I can't really comment on that, of what goes on in there. I can only imagine. But when we do the interview with our special guest this week, once we sort out our technical issues, we'll have a bit more of an insight into what goes on in the jails in the US anyway. Anyway, remember that big long song?
Yes, you're going to play that now.
Big long song, yeah.
Big long song.
I think it's this one, Raw Poetic and Damu the Fudge Monk. Ever heard of him? I think you'll like this song.
Dear poet, please write us a poem. Tell us of love and of life. Something quite simple.
Hey yo, cool cat Kahlua, the black of my vibe. For mysterious visions describe me. Love falls except timber, your sky's free. Payment for my lady, I tell her it's pricey. I don't wanna be what they saying about me. Typical musician who hit it, then I leave. My problem is my promises to mama are synonymous with mama kids. She wanna live rich, Jason's anonymous. The kind of kid, find a stick. Words you say I honor it. No matter how deep we get, we only kinda click. Don't think that I'ma change, pull me from my brain. Hours throughout the day to the world, I'm insane. But sister, I love your rain, say in my membrane. Funnel through a tunnel with music in your name. And I can hear you on the other side of long haul. And I'ma do the same, I just want you to call. Yet I fall off and fall short like Muslims who ate pork. No clean slate or clean forks, the world off is gamer. Driven by confusion, compassion, loving and anger. Girlie feeling good beyond moments of when I bang her. But love becomes a stranger when you are loving a stranger. True emotions really start coming out off the hanger. To me it's all a novel, sinking in someone's bottle. Ship it off till tomorrow, shallow but never hollow. You gotta love the girl, say it for me. You gotta love the girl, say it for me. You gotta love the girl, say it for me. You gotta love the girl, say it for me. Lady love, baby, I love your nature. Very non-judgmental and know that I'm not a player. I can really dig her cause her soul is made of layers. Let me in her temporarily, I may obey her. Before we get stuck close, I say that's just how love goes. Preparing for a rough road, but this one there is danger. I can see the makeup peeling off when she is angered. Saying all the things she can't take back and so I change up. Before we pick up flows, go and pick up her stub nose. And everywhere that love goes, I spit it to the angels. My granddaddy's best friend always had been the banjo. It's so gone forever, sometimes I wish it would hang low. Cause when I stop playing for a second, I can handle how the sky still attracts tears that high. Funnel cloud a tunnel that leads to the other side. And I can hear the tracks, the train conductor caller. Airports are pounding the world like I was Jordan. Ignore it. First it's all poetic and Jason's remaining second. Connected with the neglected minority party. Get it, the future, I'm fit to set it. Forget it when it's connected with the present. Who's been better? See, baby, you'll never get it. You gotta love the girl.
To love is to discover and complete oneself in someone other than oneself. We must begin to discover in each other not merely the elements of one and the same thing, but a single spirit in search of itself. But is love just a reflection of our own intensity, or is it a real relationship fraught with sacrifice and danger? And how does one merge the self with the other? Does love live only as a mirror lives, and give so much back only as a mirror gives, which gazes only with what gazing gave, and gives by gazing back that only? Can love live only as an echo lives, in places where a shout has called, and give back only as an echo gives, which falling faces only on the back of calling?
Yeah, I told you we were going to play some long songs tonight, Rach. Calling, Raw Poetic and Dami the Fudge Monk here on Underground Radio. Thanks very much for tuning in for another weekly edition of the Radiotherapy Show with me and Rach.
Speaking of tuning in, did you know that 3.5 million people are tuning in nightly at 7:30 p.m. every night to reality TV in Australia? And the clear winner is Big Brother. Have you seen Big Brother yet?
I have caught a little bit of it. I mean, I always liked Big Brother, but the problem is it can kind of, the viewing pattern, habit of it can just kind of take over your life, you know. So I like it when they used to play it on, you know, 1 a.m. in the morning or something like that. I can just watch
and they'd have the recaps, or you could watch it live at night time, what was happening in the house.
I just watch it online a bit later. I mean, you got to be able to do that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So reality TV is a huge hit in Australia, and Big Brother has won the ratings at the moment. But the other ones are The Voice and 10's MasterChef. So so Big Brother is actually on Channel 7, which is a huge shift from previous years that we saw. And can you believe, I think it's been 10 years since we've seen Big Brother. Is that right?
Has it really? Has it been that long?
It has been that long.
10 years.
10 years.
Wow.
I reckon. That is a wow.
Wow.
Something like that. So, but yeah, it's a hit and people are tuning in to Big Brother 2.0.
Yeah.
And they're also tuning into The Voice and to MasterChef. So there's a lot of people watching nightly television.
Well, I'm noticing getting a few people tuning in to us too, Rach. The viewing numbers are going up and up, which is always interesting to see.
That is.
Yeah. Hey, I'll show you a guy who I don't think would make it onto Big Brother. I don't know if you saw this video online, Rach, but this is disgraceful, all right? You ready?
Okay.
Here we go. Now, this guy here we go. This guy comes out to put his trash out, right? Check it out, though. Hang on. This guy comes out to put his trash out. Look at him.
Hold on, I'm bringing up the feed.
There you go.
Okay, yep. A dude putting out his trash. Okay. Oh, he's like half naked.
Yeah. So that's the neighbour of a friend of ours down on the Gold Coast. Imagine having a neighbour that just comes out. I mean, some people got no shame. Like, seriously, going out, that's on the street, man. You know, like,
that is out on the street. Yes, that is no shame for sure.
Yeah, it is, isn't it? There you go, look, it just comes out, put the rubbish out.
Yeah.
Just moving the bins around.
Nobody can see me, it's in the dark.
Oh, well, obviously enough light to blim and film under, isn't it?
Yeah. So, I don't know, you don't reckon he's wearing a G-string?
Oh, I don't know. No, well, there are a few comments on there about a little skinny dangly thing at the front, so
I see. But isn't that how girls walk around on the Gold Coast, pretty much? That's pretty much how much backside they have showing when they go to the beach.
Well,
I mean, you see that all the time at the beach, and it's just like horrendous. It's like, please put some pants on. Like, seriously?
Well, that's right. I suppose if it was a female taking the rubbish out and the guys, you know, sitting across the other side of the cul-de-sac looking out their apartment window, they mightn't have so many complaints, would they? When it's a guy, it's like, nah, that's not cool, bro. Put some pants on.
We don't want to see that. A girl, whoo.
Yeah.
Depends how good looking the girl is, I suppose.
Actually, that's the neighbour of our good friend Marlena on the Gold Coast. And Marlena's an amazing person. She's got cerebral palsy, but she is a journalist and she loves to travel, and she has just accomplished so much with her life, so much more than most people will ever accomplish with their lives. So she's an example of one of these people that've turned a negative into a positive. In fact, I was thinking about getting Marlena on the show, because when Marlena types away, when you have a chat conversation with Marlena online, she is so normal, and you just would not know that there's, that she has any kind of disability.
Or that she's non-verbal in daily life.
Well, she probably doesn't even, I've never asked her, but she probably doesn't even see what she has as a disability,
Well, it's only that she can't, communicate the way that we would, but she communicates perfectly fine, through other mediums.
It's probably just a disability in the eyes of everybody else. It's probably not a disability.
Well, I'd say it's her superpower, isn't it?
It is. And if you look at all the people she's interviewed, Dalai Lama and Bon Scott from, not Bon Scott, Bono from U2. And, all huge, big, famous names. She's travelled the globe and done some incredible things.
And still some pretty incredible things to come as well. So if you want to follow her on YouTube, you can. She's the AAA journalist.
Yeah.
And she has jumped off buildings as well, doing tandem skydiving and things like that. So she's, really, really brave lady.
Is that Mike Myers that she's with on her ID picture?
She's met all kinds of celebrities. So she interviews celebrities and goes to the arias, and she's like, lucky her. But she's worked really, really hard to do that. She's an author as well. She's got several books out. She's, writing more books. So yeah. And if you want to meet her, you can see her down at the Gold Coast Art and Craft Market on Sundays and buy a book from her. And she's awesome.
Yeah, she is. Remarkable human being.
She is.
Yeah. Hey, I've got another song to play. Do you remember DJ Jazzy Jeff, Rach?
Yes, I do.
Okay. Hope you're going to like this one. Skater's Paradise. You heard it here on Underground Radio.
Riding up mountains and make your mind blow. Real fine girl with a real nice convo. Runaway moon, baby, where'd the time go?
Workout Nazi, yoga Tachi, Layla Ali, I let her box me. Lion Cougar, girl, you foxy.
Indonesia, we head to Bali. When the sunrise, it looks so godly. Back in Chi-Town, I could not see so much danger. Blackstone Rangers, politicians is causing anger. All my hang-ups had to hang up.
How can I fly when the wing is banged up?
Who had 36 in the chamber? I only got one, but I'm a real good aimer. Blah.
I got to escape some way somehow. I feel so trapped inside this town. Got an open road and a list of goals.
Passport unfold, we headed to Moscow. Vegas ain't far enough away, and you're not gonna find love in LA. And Miami is the place we go to play. With the Cuban now finally connect with Che.
Motorcycle ride out and fly out. Partying in Perth is the perfect hideout. Wish I could bring that back to my house.
And I could get my cousin off of my couch. Show him what it's like on a beach in Phuket. Feet in the sand, don't get your shoes wet. Island,
Thailand, shorts and crew necks.
Maui,
Billy Loud and Salmon Crew kept old. That sushi in Tokyo. Shot of the sake before we go. South Korea, they got soul. South Korea, they got soul. With the fellas up in the favelas. Just like Compton, gotta watch your colors. Street vendors is always trying to sell us. Cop one from one, the other get jealous. Got 2 for 1, that's a hell of a deal. Went to Milan and had a hell of a meal. Met a hell of a girl in hot yellow hills. She was hella hot, but she popped hella pills. Chill, I can bring you back to the Philadelphia. Or you don't wanna go, do you hear yourself? Are you arrogant? Do you feel yourself? Are you scared of the world? Do you fear yourself? I'm flying out the Mount Zion. Caves in Ghana, God, I start crying. They can't chain me down, I'm defiant. Been around the world and now I know who I am. I've been on the road so much this year. I ain't have time to cut my hair. Living out of bag, the same old gear. But I got to get out and clear my head. Space, time and place. You can have it all with the time it takes. 14 hours to lead the states. Eating steaks on nice estates. Holy Batman bathing apes. Naples wine had the finest grapes. Main course meals on designer plates. Look, say something, nigga, I'll slap your face. I'm a traveling man, I'm a traveling man. You can do it too for a couple of grand. Instead of spending racks on a strip of the dance, you can spend a rack on a trip to Japan. Shit, that's all I'm saying. I'm just in the world doing all I can. Even though I ain't Mexican, I still wear the sombrero and the salsa pants. It's a party in here, it's a girl out there. If you in here, it's a world out there. Now get ready for the world premiere.
I love how they say shit. This is Underground Radio, and that's DJ Jazzy Jeff. Yeah, we're reached the final leg of tonight's Underground Radio Therapy show, Rach.
Yes, I've just seen 2 very interesting things in the news which I thought I would mention. One, this study has not been peer-reviewed, but they are saying that as far back as August is when they believe that COVID-19 was circulating in China.
Right.
And they got this information, which I stress has not been peer reviewed yet. But normally they can tell like how bad a flu season is going to be by how many, like the spike in car parking and people Googling symptoms and that sort of thing. So they had like a big spike in people Googling gastro symptoms, like diarrhea. And that turned out to be one of the symptoms of COVID. But the other was like how many car parks and the spike of people actually going to the hospitals in Wuhan. So they're saying that it was, they believe that COVID-19 was spreading in August of last year in Wuhan and spiked in December, which I think is very interesting. So I'd like to see when this study is peer-reviewed, obviously they can't prove it 100%, but just very interesting food for thought. The other one is about, this week we've seen the news about the council possibly disbanding or dismantling the Minneapolis Police Department. Yeah. So there's actually a city that disbanded their police department 7 years ago. And it's pretty amazing because, what do you think will happen if you disband a police department in like a major city like Minneapolis? Well, Camden in New Jersey may be the closest thing to a case study they can get. The city is home to a population of about 17% of Minneapolis size. So, it is a lot smaller, obviously. But they dissolved their police department in 2012 and replaced it with an entirely new one after corruption rendered the existing agency unfixable. So before its police reforms, Camden was routinely named one of the most violent cities in the US. Now, 7 years after the old department was booted, the city's crime has dropped by close to half. Officers host outdoor parties for residents and knock on doors to introduce themselves. It's a radically different Camden than it was even a decade ago. And here's how they did it. So, it goes into all the reasons and how they dissolved the police department. Very, very interesting, isn't it? So they dissolved it to root out corruption, obviously.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's great to see when there's authority like the police department that are actually working for the good of the community. which is really what they should be doing. But so many times, and I know it's difficult under a lot of different circumstances, situations for them to deal with things in a
So interestingly here it says, so they've got community-oriented policing, which prizes partnerships and problem-solving over violence and punishment. And it starts from an officer's first day. When a new recruit joins the force, they're required to knock on the doors of homes in the neighbourhood they're assigned to patrol. They introduce themselves and ask neighbours what needs improving. Training emphasises de-escalation, and the department's use of force policy makes clear that deadly force is the last option.
Well, that's right.
Now, police host pop-up barbecues and pull up in Mr. Softy trucks to get to know residents. And Capelli said they host drive-in movie nights. Recently, the movie of choice was The Lion King, along with what used to be known as the city's heroin highway. So it's a community-first initiative, and it has made improving diversity within the force a priority too. So whites are the minority in Camden, so they've hired more black and brown officers to serve black and brown residents. So yeah, that's like pretty positive.
Yeah, it's sort of like the story we watched the other day of the Aboriginal police in Western Australia.
Yeah, well, the only Aboriginal, Indigenous-run police station in the country.
Yeah, that's cool too.
And they really do have community policing down. So yeah, amazing, really inspiring. And the female police officer, like how inspiring was she?
Yeah.
Just to see where she's come from. Amazing. I think I can see half a dozen or so of my Indigenous friends that would just, be awesome police officers.
Yeah, and they get so much more respect just having Aboriginal police in those communities, just dealing with Aboriginal communities.
Well, just trying to solve problems rather than, we throw everyone into jail for the littlest thing that they've done. So it's only a positive, isn't it? It's a win-win if we can have positive outcomes for the community and for the police.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Well, we've reached that time of night, Rach. I want to try and sort out these technical issues so I can get this interview to go ahead either tomorrow or the next day.
Yes, considering you are the techie.
Yeah.
But if anyone's, a techie that's worked in a radio station, you're welcome to come and, lend us a hand on this one.
I just need...
We're always happy for a little bit of advice.
I need to consult with a telecommunications expert. But,
yes, you do.
At the moment, I'm just using the process of elimination, which is quite often how you deal with computer and telecommunications challenges. If that doesn't work, try a different way. Yeah. All right, Rach. Well, thanks for coming in, being part of the show for yet another night. And I'm going to finish with some Jericho Jackson. Hope you like this one. You've been listening to Underground Radio, Pete and Rach, Radiotherapy.
Self-made since 12th grade, this my calling. Every jewel I drop is money out the sky falling. L is that nigga. Some of y'all forgotten when I'm jotting. My pen bleed while yours be blood clotting. Do I give them pain or give them mercy? Decisions. They say my bars set them free in all the prison divisions. This weaklings, known as foes, are likely not on the hills of this. Stand up, nigga, always thinking on his toes. Self-made since 12th grade, that's my calling. Every jewel I drop is money out the sky falling. Like it's raining on a stripper, I was eyeballing. Faces in my lap, fingers up my thigh crawling. L is that nigga. Some of y'all forgotten while I'm jotting. My pen bleed while yours be blood clotting. Word, he finna spaz, me get 8, not on my watch. It could be 7:30, then 30 minutes pass. Science and dollar signs are underneath my D fitted. Saw a light at the end of the tunnel, I lit my tree with it. That's just how I'm blazing, nothing short of amazing. Had a brush with death and all it did was make my wave spin. Numero uno, owning watches made by Hublot. Every time I step it up, y'all quick to stoop down to a new low. Either do more planning or shoot yourself in the foot with the 4K. cannon and hit the floor landing where you're standing. Self-made since 12th grade, this my calling. Every jewel I drop is money out the sky falling. L is that nigga. Some of y'all forgotten when I'm jotting. My pen bleed while you might pull up on you in the Q50 Infinite Park. You an infant in shark water, marauder throwing shots against an infinite spark. Inside the boundary of a city, state, and county. Who's down to put a bounty on my head before they crown me? Giving me more reasons to pour Riesling and activate the door keys in the Four Seasons. Where I'm from, make the news that'll interrupt the program. Some are face the music, others caught up in the slow jam. It took away the hoop goals, so know that I can show you the ropes to strangle you with them if you looking for some loopholes. What's in my bio is hazardous and it's bio is matches and gas chambers, a water gun in Ohio, an asteroid in the troposphere, speeding towards a hopeless mere mortal. Others appear normal through my air portal. Y'all will hate if next year I'm in the McLaren chair. Here and there I see I got angles, y'all don't play fair and square. All I push is mind power, screw zombies. They brainwash while my brain waves are tsunamis. The small beaches on the island with a few palm trees. It's bars for you gun toters who pursue crime sprees. Self-made since 12th grade, this my calling. Every jewel I drop is money out the sky falling. L is that nigga. Some of y'all forgotten when I'm jotting. My pen bleed while yours be blood clotting. Self-made since 12th grade, this my calling. Every jewel I drop is money out the sky falling. L is that nigga. Some of y'all forgotten when I'm jotting. My pen bleed while yours be blood clotting.
What's up, my nigga? Hey, man, what's up? Shit, you know, just put me on. Get that light though. I got you right here. My nigga. Shit. Fuck, man. You ain't doing nothing, yo. What the fuck, yo? That's a bullshit, man. Fuck the police, man.
The underground is from the heart. A lot of people told us to get in contact with you. When you underground, you go in and you do what you feel.
Oh my God.
Circumnavigating planet Earth.
Underground radio.
Underground radio. Right versus wrong. Good versus evil. God versus the devil. What side you on?
Underground radio.